feet tall, blacker than black.
Something was throwing at the cabin.
I don't think it was trying to play with us. I think we were fooled.
Ontario, Canada, one of North America's great untouched wilderness regions. It is an outdoorsman's paradise. But there is something else here, something that does not want visitors and will turn aggressive to keep them away.
Cabin had been broke into.
Kind of felt like we were being watched.
It actually sounded like two individuals, one over here and one over here.
It wasn't a man. It looked like this.
The creature, described by some to be hair-covered, 6 to 10 feet tall, equal to the size of a Kodiak bear, but walking upright. It has 17-inch feet, long arms, and is believed to weigh in at nearly 1,000 pounds, and is capable of shaking a fishing cabin to its foundation. It fits the historical description of a Sasquatch. The epicenter of these mysterious creature reports may be a remote fishing camp at Snellgrove Lake, Ontario, just 250 miles north of Manitoba's capital of Winnipeg. The view from the air shows just how isolated the cabin is. The camp is the only dwelling on the lake, and the only way in is by float plane. In 2002, something unknown completely ransacked the interior. Nearly everything was ripped from the walls, including the bathroom sink.
Everything was on the floor.
Cabin owner Chuck Mosbeck is quite certain it wasn't due to vandals.
There's no way in other than flying in.
The likely culprit, a bear, was ruled out for several reasons.
This is sometime between October 1st and the middle of the winter. Bears up that far should be in hibernation during that time.
In August of 2006, researchers investigating reports of a threatening creature at the cabin were themselves victims to rocks being thrown during the dark of night.
Did you hear that?
That rock was pretty good size. I'm still shaking.
Camera crews scanned the immediate area with night vision and thermal cameras. One researcher threw a rock back into the woods.
And that was followed by a rather larger rock bouncing down the roof of the cabin.
A search of the area the following day confirmed their suspicion. A rock the size of a tennis ball was found on the roof. Who or what had thrown it? As a deterrent, the owner of the cabin had laid out a bed of screws, and it worked. A 17-inch bloody footprint was left behind, along with tissue. MonsterQuest retrieved the tissue, and subsequent DNA analysis revealed potentially startling results.
I got DNA that was primate DNA, and I knew that I might be looking at the DNA of a Sasquatch.
A new team of researchers returns to the shores of Snellgrove Lake in search of more evidence. Primatologist Esteban Sarmiento plans to determine if this habitat can sustain a large primate-like animal.
Like all other mammals, it has certain necessities. It has to eat. It's the food, really, that sort of tells you it has to be in certain areas.
Identified as a potential food source, raspberry and blueberry plants are thick, though they have yet to fully ripen.
There's no doubt a large primate could sustain himself here.
The team plans to use a three-pronged approach. Infrared cameras mounted on the cabin, camera traps hidden around the perimeter of the forest, and audio and video recorders that will be running continuously. Nightfall brings not only darkness, but an almost deafening silence over the isolated fishing camp. 6 nights have passed, and so far their tactics have not provoked an attack. A surprise visit from a local bush pilot brings news that the creature may be near.
He heard that there was 2 people. They're blueberry picking, and they saw Sasquatch.
Further research indicates the location of the sighting is quite close.
Jeff, it's only 115 miles.
Do you think it's possible an animal would actually just follow the wave of berries?
Oh, sure, I think that would be very likely.
And this is a late spring around here, and so the blueberries are late, because around here they're small and green. There's a lot of them, so it's going to be a good crop.
There are documented stories that suggest Sasquatch eats blueberries. An affidavit from William Rowe in 1955 describes the following encounter that happened on Mica Mountain when he saw what he thought was a grizzly bear in the blueberry bushes. A moment later, it stepped into the clearing, and Rowe quickly realized it was not a bear. He estimated the creature to be 6 feet tall, almost 3 feet wide, and 300 pounds, covered head to toe with dark brown, silver-tipped hair. It pulled the branches of berry bushes toward its mouth and ate. Upon seeing Roe, the creature stood upright and walked away on two legs.
We were scared. I had no idea what it was. It wasn't a bear or moose, she stressed. It was upright and walking.
Helen Papasse and her mother encountered the creature as they were pulling up to one of their favorite blueberry picking spots.
All of a sudden, this black figure comes on the road. It was 8 feet tall, pitch black. We seen it walk off and into the bush.
Suggestions that it may have been a bear are quickly dismissed.
This thing was upright, human-like, but it still didn't look human. It was a creature.
The beast was so disturbing that Helen's mother refuses to ever return.
It's an enormous area. There's no doubt that it could support something that's totally new. Whether it does is another question.